Stellaris has a very nasty habit of letting the players set their own goals. There's no real victory condition unless you play a very specific type of empire, and in every other case, you cross a certain date and you're promptly rewarded with a screen that says, "A winner is you." Now sadly, the Stellaris community is filled with a bunch of sadistic bastards who take this setting your own goal concept and take it to the most painful extreme, and create challenges for other players. The One Planet Challenge, where you're allowed to expand, but never to colonize. The One Pop Challenge, where you somehow have to get into a situation where you have only a singular pop in your empire. The Lifeboat, where you spend most of your time in the L cluster. Or, in this case, a certain challenge that I have never really tried, colonizing and expanding as much as you want, as long as it's in the same planetary system. It's time for a Jank build. In. The One Planet Challenge, relatively straightforward. We have our singular solar system. It is the sole solar system in this particular case, and we are not allowed to go anywhere. Well, we're allowed to explore, make contact, diplomatic stuff, etc. with other empires, but our borders end here.
The line must be drawn here!
However, there is a couple of ways where we can kind of put ourselves into a situation where we are not completely screwed. And that has to do, of course, with habitats. Now, the first thing I did here is I had two options. Either I go Void Dwellers, or I go for the Void creatures that is, of course, the Knights of the Toxic God, which is exactly what I did. Why? Because I get a habitat straight away. Technically, with Void Dwellers, I would get three of them straight away, but then I wouldn't get the cool situation, and obviously we need a little bit of fluff along the ways, and potentially abuse the magnificence that is the Void Dweller technology setup. Still though, the other thing that we really want to do is make sure that we are in fact a megacorp. Megacorps excel. Absolutely excel at extremely tall builds that can really leverage their power. In addition to that, they have a couple of problems when it comes to their empire size, because the bigger they are, the bigger impact they have. And of course, then we're starting to look at situations where we're not going to get all that many resources. For our civics, we have Mastercraft Incorporated, because why wouldn't we? And free traders to get additional trade value, and as well as a brand office value. We want to get as many branch offices as possible. Probably around 40 of them if we can, but still, we'll see whether or not that's going to be possible. We even things out with a little bit of authoritarianism in case we do want to go for some prisoners with jobs. Xenophile because of the additional envoys as well as trade value. And finally, Materialist because of the robot upkeep bonus, because yes, this is a robot run. That's very important to keep in the back of our heads. Also, something seems to be wrong, but I cannot quite put my finger on it. The square is transparent. I'm so stupid. Regardless, if we want to play this game as a single system, habitat-focused empire, the most important thing that we need to have is planets with minerals on it. Thankfully, Venus, in this particular case, because I did spawn with the soul version of the Toxic God, Venus comes with a bunch of minerals in this particular case. And this is actually really important, because we need to have habitats that we can get minerals from. The more we have of them, the better. The rest can all be things that generate alloys or science, etc., but that is the most important thing right now. Also, Mars seems to have alloys and energy for some reason, which is rather useful. Now, there are aspects of this that are kind of strange and you want to keep in mind. As we go to the galactic map, you will see that there's a lot of space nearby, space that we could normally colonize, but we're not allowed to touch any of it. We need to stay in our solar system and be nice and insulated from the rest of the galaxy. Now, what can we do here? Well, first of all, we're just going to go ahead and send our science ship out on automatic surveying and try to get a little bit of resources from space through anomalies. That is a pretty big deal. We need to get that sorted already, and our science ship is ready to go. In addition, this is very much a science-based setup, so we would want to go for science as much as possible, but pop growth is also really important due to our setup, because we don't have that enough pops in order to balance all of this stuff. Once the galactic market comes online, we'll just buy as many pops as we can, because we are playing as a megacorp, so we'll have the opportunity just to get them off of the prisoners with jobs market. But still, you know, it's kind of important to realize that we don't really care about what's going on outside of our own solar system, aside from anomalies as well as other empires. You know, all of these asteroids seem to be in a little bit of a blocky form, and they're kind of in a chain. Now, the thing is that a bunch of very interesting things can happen, and we are trying to find out what is going on in the galaxy at large. There is another arm over here that's not really all that interesting. We will ignore this singular system out there. It's not really all that important. But still, you know, some good things can happen once you're playing like this. It's like, I don't know, getting the Cybrex. This is a hand, not a spaceship. And, yeah, if we can get the minerals, it means that we effectively can get infinite alloys. So we may not need to make a Ecubinopolis in this particular case in order to get everything going, because, well, the alloys are kind of going to take care of themselves. Now, the first thing we did is going straight into prosperity. Why prosperity? Well, because of the mining station output plus 20%, which is pretty decent, but the real kicker is the standard construction templates. Effectively, what it allows us to do is to build stuff for cheaper, which is what we want to have. Having a reduction in build costs for buildings in the district by 10%, as well as increasing their speed being built by 25 is a huge deal. And then right after that, the dipping into discovery, going for the Map the Stars edict. Because Map the Stars in this particular case, again, we are only in a singular solar system, means that we can do a lot of some really useful stuff with anomalies. Also, I apparently have spawned in a god tier pocket system, and I cannot do anything with it, and it pains me so much. Because we're a bunch of disgusting min-maxers, we're just going to put nothing but research labs on our capital world and maybe something down the line as well, because science is, of course, the name of the game. The real thing is, however, is that, well, I found the rubricator location, which means that this entire area is going to be great for any other empire to dip their toes into. Speaking of which, I have just unlocked habitats, and now I'm going to build the most important habitat of the game, which is, of course, on Venus. Why Venus? Because of the aforementioned minerals that we need. Yes, minerals is something that is going to be an incredible bottleneck for us. And we want to get that online. What are these hostiles here? Oh, of course. Sure, why not? It looks like that we got another alien species over here. Delightful. Now, there's one little thing that I haven't talked about yet, and that is the miracle that is Venus in this particular setup. Well, Venus, in all of its amazingness, is a toxic terraforming candidate. At size 17 is actually quite decent. Normally, what we would have is we would have Mars as a barren world, which we could then turn into a usable planet for basically our pops. However, Venus is slightly bigger, which is very, very useful for us, and I am looking forward to turn that world into a rich mineral depository. Now, the knights themselves are not necessarily too amazing in this particular context, but they are better than void dwellers altogether. Now, the real choice is, are we going for a Unity build or a Science build? It's a science build, obviously, because Unity is not going to be a problem to generate on an empire this small. So science is the way to go, and we can always fill up those habitats with all the people or guests that we need down the line. So yeah, there's the main thing. In addition, with all the other habitats that we're going to be having, if we roll our dice right, we're going to be able to put little setups of knights pretty much in the entire solar system. Plus, they'll have so many defensive armies, it's gonna basically be uncrackable. So all the good stuff, really. Alright, so the first habitat is online. It's sitting over Venus, and that is perfect for us as we now get access to those glorious astro mining bays, which are going to give us quite a lot of minerals, which is exactly what we need. However, small hiccup in the plan here, a sort of spanner in the works. This is a devouring swarm. That could cause some trouble, but we do have a hegemonic empire to our south. So what we could do here is ask to be their subject, specifically a Scholarium. Look, I have no idea what happened. I have no idea how I did it, but somehow Mars has 6 districts, one of which is hidden in the little corner over here, next to the mineral districts that I did not expect to happen either. So not only can we get energy, not only can we get alloys, not only can we get minerals for some bizarre reason, there is also a leisure district put in the little corner, like a little red light district sitting outside underneath a bridge. Yeah, that's how much you can see of it. It kind of brings you in saying, hey, why did you come and join us over here? Would you want to sneak in there? Into the leisure district? No, I want minerals. Give me minerals, damn it. The galactic market has formed. This is great news, which means that we can immediately try to get the galactic market going. The real thing is, however, I tried really hard to join this overlord to our south, and I want to become their vassal. Yes, I want to be their subject. I would love to be your Scholarium. However, apparently they like us too much, and they don't want us to be their subject. Mind you, I'm doing this because there is a devouring swarm right on our doorstep, and, well, it's... Oh no, let me in. Alright, so, since the start of this empire, I've been withholding some information from you. And most importantly is that there is the Shroud Walkers enclave right here, which is very useful. You can do a bunch of cool stuff with it, but you can also use it to keep on rolling events. More specifically, events like the Broken Union, which is the one-way trip to the miracles of brain slugs. Yes, brain slugs, which means that we can improve our empire on a very crazy amount. So let's go and see what we can do there. Where did they spawn? On Titan, you say. Okay, well, that's interesting. Well, let me get Saturn up and running first and see what we can do there. In the meantime, though, they still haven't let me in, but we got the nice little buffer zone between us and this swarm that is at least going to hold them back a little bit, and thankfully we have a nice little trade deal going on there. Sadly, however, they haven't actually done anything in terms of colonizing these worlds, which is highly unfortunate because, well, we kind of need these aliens to colonize these worlds in order to get access to their juicy franchises, of which right now, 66 years into the game, we only have 3. We should be on already 10 or something like that, so it's not going too smoothly, but we're holding out, it's going well, and on top of that, it's now time, 66 years into the game, to put an orbital ring on our world. It's taken a little while. It's a little bit further in the future than I originally had anticipated to get to this point, but it has mainly to do to the fact that we only have 7 branch offices. We should have around 30 to 40 by now, and that's simply not happening at this point because for some reason I cannot leverage my stuff. The real problem, however, is, there's some territory around it, and it's all been colonized. The real problem is that this right here is that devouring swarm I was talking about, and they surround us at all points. So the only way we're gonna get the hell out of here is by building a gateway in our home system and then getting the hell out. The other problem is that I wanted to get a commercial pact with these guys, but they decided, we're just gonna get invaded by these free traders over here who are in fact we had a megacorp. Yeah, there's another megacorp over there. I really want to go to war with these guys just so I can take their stuff, seize their assets, so to speak, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. This is, of course, a problem. In the meantime, though, we've got this going on. That's cool, but the real thing is the following. How janky can we get this? Well, let's get Detox. Let's do that. And let's head over towards Venus. And let's terraform this into the kind of world that we have, i.e. a continental world. For a mere cost of 10,000 energy credits, we can turn this toxic world into yet another paradise, which is exactly... Oh my god, it looks like a piece of meat that has gone off Or a super janky watermelon. So far, so good, though. We're still surviving. It is a fortress system after all. We got a lot of firepower in here, and I don't think this other alien empire, or at least these guys, are going to be able to crack this proverbial nut. Not especially after we'll get Venus online. I swear to God, this is one of the worst runs I've had in quite some time. Mega structures at 2334. A devouring swarm on my doorstep whilst I'm playing a single system, and we've only just gotten the toxic god. Well, at least we've managed to join a federation, so that's at least something. So that's going on right now. We're not president at the moment, but it is a researcher one. That's good, but we are sadly not galactic sovereign, and we're going to need to do something about that. We're going to need to be God King of the galaxy sooner rather than later, and we can leverage that. I think it wouldn't be too much of an issue. Like, it's 2,000 power, plus we've got 10 envoys. Should be doable. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we're going to do it. We're going to win. As I mentioned, things are going slow. However, important things have happened. Yes, very important indeed. Introducing the Ecubana Monopolis. Ah, yeah, look at that. It is so cursed. On a more realistic note, however, it looks like the galactic community is currently in session, and I only have 6,000 diplomat, but I'm only 1,000 away from being the big boy on the block. I have 10 envoys. Time to start assigning envoys and becoming God King of the galaxy. And then, with our new power, we're going to leverage ourselves into Galactic Custodian, and we're finally going to get rid of this damn swarm who's just sitting on our asses. 10? Yeah? 10, please? I wonder, how many are we going to get in terms of... Oh, no. 9,000? And the election is in 120 days? I wonder who is going to be the biggest, baddest boy in the galactic community soon. Well, what do you know? It's me. Whilst we're waiting for that stupid gateway technology to finally show up, it's time to actually evolve into a synthetic being, so that's what we're going to do. Hopefully this isn't going to horribly crash our economy, but yeah, we're just going to go and casually transfer into robots now. Synthetic evolution. Best evolution. Jesus Christ, finally gateway travel. That means that we're really close to actually building a gateway and getting the hell out of here. Also, we are maxed out on alloys. That's not good. So, I was building a megastructure, I believe. Yes, there it is. All right, science next to site. Probably not the optimal way of doing this, but more science, always good. 160 damn years into the game, finally, gateway construction. We can get the hell out of here. Remember when we were talking about at the start of the game how, yes, we got Cybrex, we're gonna get the Cybrex Warforged, and we're gonna get, like, all the alloys in the world. 160 years in the game, I finally got it. There it is, the Cybrex Ring World. Jesus Christ, this is... the most ridiculous thing. I should not be doing this. Jesus Christ. You know you're having a bad day when all of a sudden subspace echoes pop up and it looks like the Praetorian Scourge is on the horizon. It is now about 80 years since we had this last discussion. Did I manage to pick up the Cybrex Warfort? Yes, I did. Did an awakened empire all of a sudden awaken and decided to kick in the door?
Fleet's getting what's coming.
Yeah, they did. Am I currently trying to invade a bunch of empires in order to get myself some subjects, something I've been ignoring for quite some time? Yeah, I have. I think that we can make some very strong conclusions with this, though, is that, well, the one system challenge works. It's perfectly fine to do. You can be pretty good with this if you have this particular setup. You just need to be super careful that you don't overproduce your population beyond the point where, I don't know, you literally don't have any housing available anymore. You need a ton of branch offices. I've got 15 right now. That is not nearly enough. You should be looking about 30, 40, 200 years before this gameplay point already. You need to start subjugating other trade empires and make sure that they become their subsidiaries, etc. Get a trade union set up and all that sort of thing. I think in this particular game, the biggest problem that I had was this devouring swarm next door completely boxing me in, and sure, I managed to get a gateway up and running in the end, but it didn't really help. Still though, getting an empire like this is not too difficult to make use of. Getting a giant fleet is completely doable. I am double over my fleet capacity and I'm still floating my economy just fine. All of these resources are being generated either internally through any of my habitats and my systems. We're just getting so much trade value, we can leverage that quite easily. In addition to that, all the holdings as well as all of the corporate embassies allow for a lot of flexibility. Getting the Senate into your grasp shouldn't be all that difficult as long as you get all of those those franchises, and that's where the real key lies for the one system challenge. I know this is a bit of an abrupt ending, and I've been sitting on the end of this video for almost 2 weeks now trying to figure out how to kind of salvage this from that perspective, and sadly it has to come to an end sooner rather than later. I didn't want to leave you guys on a low point here, so I want to go ahead and wrap this one up here. If you want to see more stuff like this where a super jank build is the way to go, feel free to put a comment down below, and of course if you want to become a member of the channel, you can come over into the Discord server. You can find a link down in the description below. I'm going to talk more about jank builds in there. There's already a couple of you who are proactively reaching out to me to do more of these, and I would like to do so, and I think there's a lot of room for that. So I'll see you out on Discord. The link is down in the description below, and I'll probably won't be back until Halloween, but if I do, well, we'll see you then, and until next time, take good care of yourselves, and check out this video where I break the PMC system completely.